Hi everyone. I think it's working. Yes. Hi everyone. I hope you're here to have your questions answered by us, Doris Coding School, and also see some questions that our members had and might help you during your coding journey. So basically, in this live that happens every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, we normally ask questions of, we answer questions of our members, and you can join our free Discord community. You can click in the link below here in the description, and you can join our free Discord community. And what are the benefits? You can see here in this page, but I will explain a little bit. So in the Discord community, you can have our support. So you can ask as many questions as you want, and us and our members that are learners from around the world will answer you. So it's pretty good because we know how hard it is to learn how to code by yourself. So having someone to help you is pretty good to get you unblock of the problems you might be facing, the questions you might have, and the bug as well. We also bring some extra content about the news of programming and other technologies. For example, this new release of ChatGPT, we kind of explain how can you use it as well. We have the group coaching that happens every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, as I mentioned. So as you can see right now, and you have more than 500 coding problems with solution. So with these problems, you can practice a lot before doing the problems of CS50, for example, if you're taking CS50, CS50 Python, or CS50 Web. Let me just check one thing. All right, it's working. So these problems are pretty good because sometimes it's pretty hard to start doing the problem sets, and here we have some ebooks where you can practice and build strong foundations on the problems, all right, on the concepts you might face. So this is pretty good. We highly recommend you joining our free Discord community. You can read here a little bit about why you should join, and here in the bottom you can click in our free Discord community. Okay, and then as you can see here, we have our membership where people ask questions and we normally answer. So it's really nice. I hope you all get interested and join our membership. Okay, so today we're gonna start working with some problems that we have here that some of our students had during the process. Okay, and I took a screenshot and we're gonna work a little bit with that. This is one of the problems where the student shared his code, and this is the indoor voice. It's a problem set of CS50 Python where you have to ask the user for an input and return the answer all in lowercase. So if you're typing in hello uppercase, you need to convert this into lowercase. And in this particular case, the student was trying to figure out a way to use return versus print to solve the problem in here, and he failed. So I will give a little bit of explanation how can you do this. So as we can take a look in here, let me create a new terminal. This is our function, indoor voice. Here we are asking the user for an input and it's converting into lowercase, and we're printing, and in here we're calling the function. So let's see what's going on. So if I run here Python problem1.py, it's asking us here, and if I say hello, it will print out hello in lowercase because here we have this method lowercase. But the reason why, for example, if I try to print here, oops, if I try to print here the indoor voice function, we're going to see that it will return us none. We're going to print, actually I didn't save, and that's why. Let me run it again. And if I say hello, it will print us hello because here on line 6 we're displaying we want to print hello, and then we're printing none because of line 9. So how can we, instead of returning none, we use here return instead of print? So what we should do, we should return this string instead of printing. This is the main problem we have when we're working with functions. Sometimes we want to get the value from our function, but we're using print instead of return. So print, the only goal of print is displaying the message for us in our terminal. The return is the opposite, actually is another goal. Basically, the return will send a value for us that this function will create, and we're going to send this value and we can store in a variable. So for example, if I say here x equals to indoor voice, and if I print here x, let's see, using the debugger. So let me put a breakpoint here on line 9, and let's understand what's going on, basically. And again, if you have any question, you can join our Discord community, or you can join our live. You can click in the link that you're seeing here in the chat. Okay, so what is going on? Here we have our indoor voice. Let me expand the part of the debugger while it's running. Let's wait a second. And we have a problem in here. Okay, so here we're calling the function indoor voice. So let's go inside this function. Here inside the indoor voice function, we have this variable answer, and we're gonna store the input of our message that the user will type in, and we're gonna convert into lowercase. So if I say, hey, here, hello, we're gonna see that the variable answer is storing hello in lowercase because we're getting the data here that the user typed it in, and we're converting to lowercase. And then we are able to return this message to our main function. And here our variable x will store this hello in lowercase because this is what we return in our indoor voice. And then we're able to print x in here. Okay, this is the first problem we saw here in our Discord community. Now let's check the second one. In this second one, the user is trying to get a variable that is an integer and storing x, and then another variable that is y, and it's an integer as well, and we're going to start in y. And here the problem is that the user, our student, don't know why it's printing a float and not an integer. And here he's trying to convert and it's having some issues. So let's see here this problem. This is exactly what we're seeing. So let me print out in here. So if I run Python problem2.py, we're asking for x, and if I say here 1, asking for y, and I'm saying here 2, and we're dividing 1 by 2, and it's giving us 0. Actually, let me use a different number. If I put here 10 and 5, it's returning us 2. Here, it's returning an integer because we are converting this result into an integer, right? So if I remove this from here, we're going to see that now our result, this division, will be a float. So here we have 2.0. And the reason why it's because here we're dividing using only one forward slash. So if we want to get an integer right by dividing here, we should use double forward slash. And this will already return to us an integer, so we don't need to convert. This is another way that we can print out. So let me show here. If we print x divided by y, this will give us a float. Here it will give us an integer. So let's see this again. Python problem2.py. If I put 5 and 2, here we're receiving 2.5 because the first print is a float division, and the second print here is an integer division, so it's giving us only the number 2. We don't see the decimal places. Okay? Here, if you are in the live and you want to say hello here in the chat, please, you're more than welcome. And also, if you want to ask questions for us, please don't be shy. All right, now let's go to this next problem. Here, it's the, I forgot what is this problem. It's the deep thought, I believe. Yes, the deep thought of CS50 Python. And this is how the user, our member, tried to create the problem, but it's not working. And what was the goal of the problem? I pasted in here. Basically, we're going to ask the user for what is the answer to the great question of life, the universe, and everything. And we should return yes if the user type in 42 or 42 in extended words. And no if the user type in something different. So let's see what's going on in here. So if I run Python problem3.py and I say the number 42, it will say yes, great. But if I say 42 this way, it's displaying yes as well, great. And if I say 42 this way, it's displaying yes. But what if I put 42 all in uppercase? We have to work with that. So if I say 42, it's displaying yes as well. Let me see why. Please, blah, blah, blah. And let me see something extra. If I say hello, is displaying yes. Well, the problem is that we're in our if statement, we're not being clear of what should be 42 or 40 space true. So every time we're working with if statements, we should always mention what is the condition we want to work. So if you want to fix this, you should do question equals 42 or question equals 42. So every time we're working with if statements, we need to work with what we want to check and the value we want to check. So we want to check the question with this part in here. So now let's see. If I run here hi, it's displaying no. If I say 42, it's displaying yes. If I say 42 with the space, it's saying yes as well. But if I say here 42, all capital, is displaying no. So here, if you remember in programming, we always have to compare the strings in the same case. So here, one way of doing this is converting everything to lowercase. And then we're able to get the correct answer as well. So here, if I say 42, is displaying yes instead of no. So now it's working. All right. Now let's go to the next problem. This is another problem we saw here in our Discord community, and it's the Camel Case problem of CS50 Python. So here the user is telling that this is his code and it's not working, but it's iterate under iterate. I don't know how to print it next to another. Also, the return function is not working. So here we have a couple of things to work with. As we can see, I copy here the code and the variable camel case this way is not written correctly. So we should fix here by writing the same way. The next thing that is going on, if I run here with the debugger, let's see what's going on and you will see what is the problem. Let's wait a little bit. All right. So here the user is asking for camel case. I'm gonna say hello, hello world this way. Oops, actually I did the wrong way. So let me run it again. The camel case, it's without underscores in the middle. So if I say camel case this way, we're gonna see. So this is the big problem and we're gonna see why. We're looping through each letter in camel case. So camel for the first scenario is C. And here we're creating a variable output inside of our for loop. And then we're checking if the letter C is in uppercase. Since in this case it's not, we're going to go to the else and we're going to create here the output 1 is equals to output plus camel. So here we have the output 1 equals to C. Now in the next iteration, our letter C, it's our camel variable has value A, and we're going to check if it's a camel, if it's in uppercase. In this case, it's not, so we're going to the else, and here the output will be A. It's not storing the previous value that we had before. Okay, so here we can start seeing the problem. So in each iteration, we're always changing the value of output, but we're not storing the previous value of the output in here. So how can we fix this? We should put this variable outside of our for loop, okay? So this way we never change. And here we should use everything in one variable only, not different ones. So this way we're always updating the current value we're working with. So let's see what is going on. And here it might give us a bug. So let me refresh and let's see what's going on. And again, if you have any questions, you can join here our live and you can ask me what is your problem. Okay, let's run and debug again and see what's going on. Let's wait a little bit. So here I'm gonna say A, B, C, D, okay, with capital C. So now we have our output outside of our for loop, and we're gonna loop through all the letters of our variable. So here we're starting with the letter A, and since A is not uppercase, we're going to the else, and we're gonna update our else part in here. So we're going to see that output now contains the letter A. In the next iteration, camel will be the letter B. Since B is in lowercase, we're going to the else, and we're going to update our output. So now we're adding the letters in our output. We're not just refreshing our variable output. So every time you want to manipulate strings and changing, adding more letters in this string, you always remember to initialize your string outside the for loop and always update by adding here. You can work like simple math. You can work with the string like a number. You can add here the letters and you're going to have this concatenation. And then now our camel letter has value C. And since here this is in uppercase, this if statement will be true. And we're going to update our output with this capital C in here. To make it work, here it's missing the underscore, all right, if you want to really fix the problem in here, and then it will work. So let me stop here the debugger and let's run it again. So if I run here clear Python problem 4.py, and I say here ABCD, now we have AB underscore CD. It's wrong in here because we should remove this dot lower, okay? And instead of printing, once we finish doing our loop, we should return in here our output. So here, actually, we don't need to return anything because we don't have a function, right? So here, if we do this case, let's run Python problem 4.py. If I say camel case, it will return into, oops, I didn't save. Let's fix this. Let's run it again. If I say camel case, it will fix now with camel underscore case. And here we should convert this to lowercase because this was the problem of CS50. They were asking us to change here to everything in lowercase, but instead of this capital, where we have the capital letter, we have to convert this to lowercase and use an underscore in front. So if I say now camel case, we're going to see here camel underscore case. Okay? Now let's go to the last problem. Basically in here, they are asking what is the meaning of sys.exit. So what is the meaning of sys.exit? Basically, sys is a library that we can use to get the arguments from the command line, or for example, this exit will get out of the code, so we won't read the next lines of our code. So what is going on in here? We're creating a variable called length, and here we're getting the length of our argv list. Remember that argv is a list that gets all the command line we have here in our terminal when we're running our code. Then we're going to check if the length is different than true. In this particular case, I believe the problem was expecting to receive 2 arguments from the command line. So the name of the file plus some extra argument in here. If the user doesn't give us 2 arguments, we're going to get out of our code and we're going to say missing command line arguments. And if this if statement is not true, if we have exactly 2 arguments, we're going to print out the second element. So let's see what is going on. And then we can understand what the sys exit does. And as I mentioned, the sys exit will make us get out of the code. Actually, I'm not sure. Yes, here, for example, we're running our code without any command line arguments. We only have one, that is the name of our file. So here, the length will be 1, okay? So we're gonna check if length is different than true. In our case, since length is 1, this if statement is true. So we're gonna run this line, sys.exit missing command line arguments, and we won't read the line 8. This sys.exit will get us out of our code. And if we take a look in here, missing command line arguments, and we won't read line 8, okay? But if I run in here Python problem 5.py, and I say here Giovanna, for example, that is my name, now we have 2 arguments in our command line, the name of the file and Giovanna. So if I click enter, it will print hello Giovanna, and we won't fail here in this scenario. If I run Python problem 5.py with no other argument, we're gonna get out of our code with these missing command line arguments. And we can also see here this red message displaying that something went wrong. Okay, so this is pretty much what we have for today. I hope you enjoyed this live. If you have any question, please send here on the comment. You can join our free Discord community. The link is in the description. And if you want to ask us some problems, you can bring in our next live that will be Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.